Hello again. For the final part of the ISB version 4 guide, I'm going to show you the baking process as quickly as I can, because I know this has been quite long. Apologies. Alright, I need to turn off the emission, which I had done from the last time. And I'm going to make this a bit more interesting to bake, rather than this weird looking mess. So I'm going to turn off that color effects. I'm going to turn on maybe this one. And then just maybe tone it down a bit, son. Tone it down a bit. Even more than that, fella. 0.2. Nothing changed. 0.2. That did. And then I'm going to make the scale a bit better than this. So, scale 8. Yeah, that'll do. Maybe a bit of displacement effects. Let's have a bit of random chunks. 0.3, 0.4. Okay. So let's say now I want this in a scene where I'm using Eevee, or you want to take it out into other 3D software. Well, you can't at the moment because it's still a plane, just a bog standard plane that's been extruded on the y-axis. So in order to turn this into something usable in Eevee or other software, we need to bake it, and it needs to be unwrapped. And I believe, let me just snip over to my UV editor. Let me just have a butcher's at this. What, for a start, is taking so long? Oh, I've just got that. How did I do that? Did I just unwrap or cube projection? Maybe unwrap. Oh, I unwrapped. Okay, so I just unwrapped. But that's dependent on your shape. You know, this is just a plane. So I don't need any fancy unwrapping going on here. I'm just going to slightly scale that down. So yeah, whatever you're baking needs to fit. The UVs need to fit in this square. Otherwise it won't have any idea what you're asking it to do. Alright. So now I've done that, I just need to duplicate the wall. So it is now using the same UVs and everything, and then I can go back to my shader editor and turn off, remove the ISB from that, because we just need to bake the information from this now. And to do that, we need to be in the main group, and these outputs here are the only outputs you need, and that's with no Ranger. You need to press Control Shift Click, and now this is going into an emission node to just show you the color, nothing else. Excuse me, no lighting or nothing. And this texture here, we want this to display the texture we're about to make. So if we pull down, let's just make a new window here, and we want an image editor, and we want to click new and give it a name. So we'll call it ISB for Col, and I would like minimum 4K, so 4096. That's your call, but I would recommend 4K. Don't need alpha. That's it. Click OK. Now this IBB Col, in order to bake, we need that loaded into here, because that's where the image is going to be stored once it's baked. And this is using UV mapping, which is really the only one you want to use, but it's there if you want to change it. So I would recommend turning off any subdivision surfaces on the wall. We want to go to render settings and make sure your render is set to 1, because it only needs one pass, just the color information, only one pass. And then under performance and under memory tiles, you want to use tiling, and that needs to match the image that we're creating, which is 4K 4096. And then under this menu here, in fact, let me just bring this up so that we can see it higher up. I'm just going to close a bunch of these. Under this one here, we've got this menu, bake type emit, because it's going into the color information into the emission node. So then we just click and hope that it's quick bake. So you need to have this object selected this image up here and this image loaded into here, and there we have the color. So we want to save that image, save as. Excuse me. Is that version 4? Yes. So we'll call it, it's already got its name, and I save it as TIFF to be lossless. Save as. And now we just do the same thing with, we don't need edgeware, we don't need abstract color. We might as well go with displacement. So I'm going to Control Shift click displacement, and then I need to click the cross and click new, call it ISB for disp 4K, same settings, OK, and then we need to load that into here. There it is, ISB 4 disp. Make sure that's selected, that's up there, click bake, and this should be as lickety spit as it was the first time. It is. And then same again, although actually this is color information, so we're going to need to save that slightly differently. So image, save as, and under file format we want OpenEXR, and we want, oh wait okay, scrap that. We want to make a new image. Sorry about this. This is important because there's a setting I should have selected here. So ISB for disp 2, and we want to select 32-bit float. I was expecting this to be black and white for some reason, but it's not, it's color. So we need 32-bit float, and that's that, ISB disp 2. So now let's load that in here, disp 2, and let's bake it again, because the OpenEXR format we'll be saving it in will have that 32-bit float information. So image, save as, and file format OpenEXR, float full, so color depth, float full. There's its name, save as. Alright, and now we want to click, Control Shift click, excuse me, your bump. And there's not much bump there, is there? Hold up. By the way, when you're done clicking all these, you've got this reconnect here. So just Control Shift click that. Excuse me. I don't see any bump. There isn't any. Let me just get, I need some bump to come through this. Bump effects, Nick, not color effects. Okay, I worked it out. I'd still got random holes mixed in, and it was overriding everything else. So now I've got the bump that I wanted. But I also, because this height dependent bump thing is only on some of them, it doesn't do anything to the rest. So I'm going to add a bit of another bump effects. So I probably need to lower the brick shape bump amount slightly, and then add in, let's try bump effects 2. Maybe not bump effects 2. Let's try bump effects 3. There we go. Okay, that'll do. So back inside the group, we now Control Shift click bump, and then we've got all the bump information. I'm going to turn off the subdivision again, and now we want to make a new image and call it ISB for bump entre, and we don't need 32-bit float. Click OK, and then load that up in here. Oh, give it a rest. ISB for bump, and then once again click bake. Excuse me. Let's have a look. There she blows. Image, save as, TIFF, save. Okay, now we can turn this off completely because we don't need to see it anymore, and we can also, for fun, switch over to Eevee now, and let's have a look. We also don't need this image editor open anymore. So now let's turn this into a wall. First thing we need is a new material, and if you can't find the principle, press A in the shader editor, then press S, and then just follow the line. So it's telling me to go over it. There she is. So you need an image texture. I'm going to tell you what you need. You can find it. So two image textures, in fact, a texture coordinate and a bump node. Yeah, and then you want to put UV into both of these. Plug the bottom one into the height and the normal from the bump into the normal on the principled, and then this straight into the color. Excuse me. And open, we want ISB for cult, and the bump, we want ISB for bump. And what I found with the bump in Eevee is it's way stronger than it is in Cycle, so I would normally take that down to about 0.3 or 0.2. Maybe, well, we'll see. And to make it displace, we now need to add, we've got a subdiv, which is Q. We need to add a displace modifier, and click new, turn the mid-level down to 0. The strength is probably going to be way too high, and then change the coordinates to UV, direction's fine, being set at normal. And then in your texture properties, you want to click open, and we want ISB disp2.exr, and that has turned out quite nice actually. So we may even be able to up the strength. There we go. So now we've got the wall in Eevee instead, which is super duper uber cool. And what I mentioned about the parts of the distorted bricks not baking, this is where you can do something to do that outside of the ISB. So now I'm happy with this. I'm going to Control A over the subdiv, and I'm going to Control A over the displace, because now it's geometry, which is great. See, now it's actual physical geometry. So what you can do now is you can mess with the shape even more. So if I had another displace modifier on top, I click new, excuse me, put the mid-level to 0, coordinates to UV, and I think this time we want RGB to XYZ under direction, and then again, we'll see which one's best for that. And then under your texture, this is called texture 0.001. We want the same one, and to get that you need to go into this menu first, and there is texture 0.001. And we could probably have something like a cloud, I don't know, clouds. See, so now it's distorting it for you, and you can change the size of that distortion, make it really small, really crazy, you know. And using the XYZ, it's not coming out inwards, it's mainly just messing with the axis of all these, or the coordinates of all these instead. And you can just lower the strength if you don't want it to be that, you know, elastic wall. Okay, but that's it. That's the whole baking process in a nutshell. Job done. Bob's your aunt? No, never mind. Wicked. That's everything. Finally, we're done. Part 4 over. I hope you enjoy this and enjoy the ISB in its newfound state. Wicked. I've been Nick. You've been you. Take care. Bye.